tried to match the arc as best we could.
Good morning, everyone. Out for the geese. Look at those little babies. Oh.
This piece gets mounted directly onto the mast with rivets. Using these 1/4 inch structural rivets. Little heavy duty stainless rivets. So this is a doubler. It's 3/8 of an inch thick. So it basically creates a load dispersion plate. So all the load isn't just focused in these two lines. Spread out, and then this just bolts directly to this without going into the mast, the meat of the mast. So it acts kind of like a giant washer. Just spreads the load out over a bigger surface area on the mast to make it more stable. Because there's a lot of force potentially on this. What I'm doing now is just laying out for the rivet locations, and then I will center punch those and drill those out to accept the rivets. Then once I get to the boat and I've got this situated where I want it, I will clamp it onto the mast, and then I will drill out all of these, corresponding holes into the mast, and then that will get riveted. This, I'm waiting on the inserts. I'm using a stainless steel, like a helicoil, to make the threading more robust in the plate. So instead of it just threading into the aluminum. I'm using a stainless steel quarter 20 helicoil, which looks just like this, except the ones for this are a little bit longer. They're 3/8 of an inch, so it's full thread thickness, which is, the rule on that is usually you're shooting for 1.5 times the diameter. So it's quarter of an inch, so 1.5 is 3/8 of an inch of thread engagement. This thing came out of a block that I got from McMaster Car that was 4 inches wide, 6 inches long, 3 inches thick. So, and really the big thing was for this relief. You see the old one, we tried to match the arc as best we could and find a gooseneck that would fit accordingly. The problem is that the way this is designed, it has all this relief space, and then the contact surface was just these lugs. So if we took those down so that there was contact all the way across, we would have cut the meat of that more than half, and they're countersunk, so those, we would have had no attachment. First off. Second off, it just is not a very robust part. This is a 52-foot, 50,000-pound boat with a very large sail, so we just didn't feel good about this. I mounted it. The radius here did not match well, so I had to create plugs. Basically went to the boat and made cardboard templates of the mast itself, and those got cut down into these, which are the shelf material for the mast collar, but that translated into this, and then that was made into this, which was a bending form. Okay, and then I had to make an adjustment for an overbend so that we could get it in tighter on the mast. So then that transitioned into this, which matches that gooseneck plate, and then that created a bending plug for that, and then that thing is 3/8 of an inch thick, so we had to create a new profile plug so that when these went together, that it continued to hold that arc with that 3/8 of an inch thickness. So as you can see, what I had to do on that was ultimately my press was not, my 20-ton press was not robust enough to bend a piece of 3/8 inch plate. It bent the 1/4 inch plate for the mast collar.
Let's show you the mast collar. Oh, now this is a creation that he made.
Not a big fan of big ugly welds, so I go through and over weld these, and then go back and grind them down, fair them out, and then I'll sand it out. Ultimately, it'll look like this. So it just, there's more than enough fillet on there to make this robust. And you put
this piece on here. You welded this piece. This was just this metal.
This is actually 3 pieces of metal. So there's this one right here, which you can see the creases in it from the bending form. So I bent it on that hydraulic press, and then because there's a bend in like that, I wasn't able to cut this and fit it in one piece, so I had to make 2 pieces. So there's actually a weld seam right down the middle underneath of that gusset. So that's been welded and then ground out flat. And then so that's 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces. And then what this does is our mast is keel stepped. So it goes through our deck down to the keel, down to a landing block. But when it comes up through the mast, I need to turn my lines from the mast back to the cockpit. Well, our coach roof sticks up probably 18 inches. So if I were to take the lines down, turn them through a block, come up, turn them through another block, and then go through the leads, it was just adding a lot of drag in the system. So instead of doing that, I created a mast collar that will come up to the level of the coach roof and will slide on, and then will be riveted all the way around through this space. Waiting, the fender sent out D-shaped anchor that goes on here. That's a hardened stamped anchor. It's designed for that purpose. So there'll be 3 of them down here. So these blocks will be put in so that they're staggered. And then there'll be 1 more here because I need to lead 7 lines aft from the mast.
So they don't attach to this underside.
They do. The piece that I'm waiting on, the anchor piece, the saddle will actually through bolt. So it'll be drilled through and then bolted, nut and bolt, rather than just threaded into this.
So then what are these here for?
Those are gussets. They're support plates.
Okay.
So they add more rigidity to this so it doesn't flex.
Okay.
And it just bolsters the entire thing. It just makes it a lot beefier without solid weight.
Okay.
But so this is 5086 Marine, and then this is 6061, which is a much stronger plate. And again, Garhauer, we only use Garhauer hardware, or as far as our rigging hardware is concerned, because they are really the best thing coming and going out there in the hardware industry. It's a family-owned business. They engineer everything and have it manufactured in-house, and they are proud of their stuff, but not in price. Their prices are super fair. And again, all the hardware we've replaced was done in Garhauer. They've been a real pleasure to work with. So, but
Okay.
that's pretty much
That's
it.
what he's been working on. That leaves me with only 2 more hatch covers. I'm hot. All right, let me get this turned around here and I'll show you. So we were just talking about that gooseneck. This is the old one that was on Olivia, but it caused it to be at such an angle where it connects back here. So the new one is mounting right there. So yeah, to say the least, our lives have been pretty busy since we came back from Canada. I retired, and I think it was a week after my retirement, we left on, I went to Canada. I'm sorry, my little nose pieces have come off that make my glasses stay on my nose, so I gotta go put them back on. But anyway, it was like a week after retirement that we went to Canada, and then we stayed in Canada for 16 days, came back early, then went, and immediately the very next morning after we got back at 3 a.m. in the morning, by 6 a.m. we were up and going to go get Bo, this our Labrador that came from Brevard, Florida. So we went and picked him up, and we're starting to get settled in with things that needed to get done here at the house and get caught up. And he had to have immediate surgery on his paw. There was an injury to it that had got a pretty bad infection. And so there was constant to the vet appointments and medicines and a cone, and it was a lot. And then shortly after that, Paula, our friend, which we call our mom, she was climbing on a ladder doing something she wasn't supposed to do, and she fell and broke a rib. So now 4 times a day I was going over to her house to help take care of all of the rescue animals. She has a lot of rescue animals, a lot of wildlife that she takes care of. And and that's, I have to clean and feed that, and then we're remodeling the house at the same time to get it ready to sell. So I've been in between trips to her house. Life just happens. But in between trips to her house, I've been taking care of Bo, his appointments, his meds, then Paula's injury, and taking care of her house, and still trying to get work done. So I've been sewing on the hatches. I've got 2 more left to do, and that'll be all of the hatch covers. And then I've been mudding, removed all of the trim in our bedroom. It's old trim, we're putting up new trim. and then started prepping the walls for paint. So a lot of mudding, and then I got to sand, and then we'll prime, and then we'll see where we're at. But you know, I'd rather be on Olivia doing work, but unfortunately I'm not able to right now, because I'm still going over to Paula's in the morning, Paula's in the evening. The AC has to be on here in the morning because we have two portable air conditioners on her to keep from using her main air conditioning units, because with all the amount of grinding that we do and sand and fiberglass, we don't want it getting in and destroying her expensive units on the inside. So anytime we're going to do work on her, we have to come over in the morning, turn the AC units on, the portable ones, so that they kind of get ahead of the day, because we're at 105, 107 here every day. So as you can see, my glasses are annoying me. I noticed in my videos I tend to I push them up, but that's because they slide. So I did get little rubber things to helps them stop sliding, but they fell out, so I got to put some new ones in there. So anyway, that's where we're at. Shawn has been recreating parts that he needs for her, and then he's gonna be doing exterior work on her. And but yeah, life's just been pretty busy doing things that need to be done and just taking care of other people. And Olivia's still here, and she'll get done when we get done, hopefully sooner than later, but you know, we just keep on keeping on. But